A dangerous habit begins when a man tells himself, I will be happy when. When the money comes, when the promotion arrives, when the debt is gone, when the house is larger, when people finally respect me. He places happiness on the far side of achievement and spends years chasing a future condition that keeps moving away from him. This is how success becomes a trap. The man works hard. He reaches one goal. For a few days, he feels relief. Then the mind creates another condition. Now I need more. Now I need to protect what I earned. Now I need to prove that the first success was not luck. The finish line moves. Happiness moves with it. And the man never notices that he has trained himself to postpone peace. Stop doing that. Success can improve circumstances. It can create freedom. It can reduce certain forms of pressure. It can give you choices that poverty does not. But success cannot teach you how to be satisfied with your own life if you practice dissatisfaction every day while building it. The habit you rehearse on the road will travel with you to the destination. If you complain constantly while earning little, greater income will not automatically make gratitude natural. If you neglect relationships while pursuing opportunity, achievement will not automatically make you present. If you treat every day as something to endure until the future arrives, you may finally arrive and discover that you have forgotten how to live. This is not an argument against ambition. Ambition is useful. A definite purpose gives life direction. But purpose should organize your effort, not confiscate your ability to experience the present. You can want more and still respect what already exists. These two states are not enemies. A grateful man can be ambitious. A peaceful man can be disciplined. A happy man can still desire greater achievement. In fact, he may pursue it more intelligently because he is not asking the goal to repair his entire identity. That distinction matters. When you need success to make you feel worthy, every setback becomes personal. A rejected proposal becomes evidence that you are not enough. A slow season becomes evidence that life is passing you by. Another man's progress becomes evidence that you are behind. Now, ambition becomes desperation. Desperation weakens judgment. You accept bad agreements. You chase every opportunity. You overwork because rest feels like failure. You spend money to look successful before you are financially secure. All because you have tied your emotional worth to a result. Untie it. Your goal is important. It is not your identity. Your income matters. It is not your value as a man. Your position matters. It is not proof of character. A man can earn greatly and still be dishonest. A man can hold modest means and possess tremendous integrity. Do not confuse market reward with human worth. This separation gives you power. You can negotiate more calmly. You can walk away from what violates principle. You can survive a temporary loss without believing your whole life has collapsed. That is real strength. The man who waits for success to make him happy often misunderstands happiness. He thinks happiness is a permanent emotional high. It is not. Life contains pressure even after success. Someone you love may become ill. A business may face uncertainty. A trusted plan may fail. Age still comes. Loss still comes. If happiness requires the absence of difficulty, no man can keep it. A stronger form of happiness is built from order, meaning, gratitude, useful work, self-respect, and relationships that are not being constantly sacrificed to ambition. These things can exist before the final goal is reached. Build them now. Do not wait. Ask what already deserves appreciation. Not because everything is perfect, because gratitude trains the mind to notice value. You may have a healthy body. Use it. A trustworthy friend. Call him. A family that still wants your presence. Be present. A skill that is improving. Respect the progress. A small income that is honest. Govern it well. Gratitude is not pretending you have enough of everything. It is refusing to become blind to what you already possess while pursuing what is missing. This blindness is expensive. A man can spend 20 years building wealth for his family while his family spends 20 years wishing he would sit at the table without talking about work. He says, I am doing this for them. Perhaps he is. But provision is not the only form of love. If the pursuit of security destroys closeness, examine the method. Do not use a worthy goal to justify a life that has become unworthy. There will be demanding seasons. Accept them, but define the season. Do not let emergency become permanent. Tell yourself, for the next 6 months, this project requires more of me. Then protect the essentials. Sleep, health, integrity, the relationships that matter most. A man who loses all four may reach the goal and arrive too damaged to enjoy it. That is not victory. You must also notice how often you say, I deserve to be happy after I finish this. Why after? Why must happiness be payment at the end of labor? Can work itself contain satisfaction? Can discipline contain dignity? Can progress contain joy before completion? Yes, but only if you train yourself to notice process. The craftsman can take pride in a clean day's work even before the full building is finished. The farmer can respect the field before harvest because he knows the soil was tended properly. The student can enjoy understanding before the certificate arrives. Learn this. Do not reserve every good feeling for the result. Let competence satisfy you. Let keeping your word satisfy you. Let a difficult day handled well satisfy you. These forms of satisfaction are available more often than major victories. They create a steadier life. This does not reduce hunger. It improves it. A desperate man wants the result because he needs rescue. A grounded man wants the result because he has chosen a worthy direction. Which man makes better decisions? The second. He can wait. He can negotiate. He can refuse. He can change method without feeling that his entire future is collapsing. This is one reason happiness before success is not softness. It is strategic strength. When your emotional survival does not depend on one outcome, you can see the outcome more clearly. You are less likely to force what is not working, less likely to cling to a weak partnership, less likely to accept humiliation for access, less likely to risk everything because patience feels unbearable. Peace improves judgment. Do not confuse peace with passivity. A peaceful man can work intensely. He simply does not create unnecessary inner war while doing it. He knows the difference between urgency and panic, between ambition and hunger for approval, between rest and laziness, between enough for today and enough forever. These distinctions protect him. You should also examine the stories you tell yourself about other successful men. You see a man with greater wealth and imagine he must be happier. You do not know. He may have freedom. He may also have anxiety. He may have influence. He may also have no one he trusts. Visible success tells you almost nothing about inner condition. Do not envy a complete life based on one visible part. Study what is useful. Learn what he did well. Then return to your own definition of success. This is critical. If you do not define success for yourself, the world will define it for you. More money, more recognition, more possessions, more status. There is no natural end to this measurement. Someone will always have more. You can win 10 times and still feel behind. Define your own standard. What does enough financial security look like? What kind of work do you want to be known for? How much time belongs to family? What level of health do you refuse to sacrifice? What principles are not for sale? Without these definitions, ambition becomes a machine that consumes every available hour. The man says, I will slow down when I have enough. But he never decided what enough means. So enough keeps moving. Decide before success decides for you. This does not mean setting a small goal. Set a large goal if it is worthy. But know why it is large. If the only answer is, because more proves I am successful, the goal may be feeding insecurity. Ask what more will do. Will it create freedom, fund useful work, protect family, allow investment, create opportunity for others? Give ambition a function. Money with purpose is easier to govern than money used as emotional proof. The same applies to recognition. Why do you want to be known? Because influence can spread useful ideas? Good. Because you need strangers to confirm that you matter? Dangerous. Recognition is unstable. The same crowd that praises today may ignore tomorrow. Do not build emotional security on rented attention. Build it through character. Keep promises. Become useful. Improve judgment. Treat people fairly. These are things you can respect even when applause is absent. A man with self-respect enjoys recognition without needing it. That is freedom. You also need to stop making the present a waiting room. This day is not merely preparation for another day. It is part of your life. Do not treat every meal as fuel for work. Every conversation as interruption. Every evening as recovery so you can produce again tomorrow. You are not a machine built only for output. Use time for purpose. Also use it for relationship, reflection, beauty, laughter, and rest. These are not enemies of achievement. They remind you what achievement is supposed to serve. The man who cannot sit quietly for 1 hour without feeling guilty has allowed productivity to become his master. Examine that guilt. Did you violate a duty, or did you merely stop moving? Stillness can reveal things constant motion hides. A poor direction, a neglected relationship, a goal that no longer matters. This is why some men stay permanently busy. Busyness prevents examination. Do not hide there. Create moments where the life can be seen as a whole. Ask, if the next 5 years look exactly like this, except with more money, would I respect the life? That question is severe. Use it. If the answer is no, success will not repair the structure automatically. Change something now. Perhaps you need better boundaries. Perhaps fewer commitments. Perhaps a more meaningful aim. Perhaps more time with the people you claim to be working for. Do not postpone correction until after the next milestone. There will always be another milestone. Happiness must be practiced in motion. Gratitude in motion. Presence in motion. Rest in motion. Meaning in motion. You do not reach these after success. You carry them into success. And when you do, success becomes safer. You are less likely to become intoxicated by the first victory because the victory is not filling an empty identity. It is adding capacity to a life already grounded in principle. That is a stronger foundation. A satisfied man should still possess standards that call him upward. He can enjoy his present life while improving his craft, strengthening his finances, deepening his relationships, and developing usefulness. Contentment says, I do not despise what I have. Ambition says, I will not waste what I can become. Keep both. One protects you from hunger. The other protects you from decay. Together they create progress without misery, effort without self-rejection, and a future that does not require hatred of the present. But there is another trap waiting. Once a man stops believing that success will magically make him happy, he may swing too far and begin using contentment as an excuse to stop growing. Then he must learn the difference between genuine satisfaction and comfortable surrender, because happiness should free ambition from desperation, not remove ambition altogether. And that is where a man must become very careful. Contentment can save him from desperation. It can also become a hiding place. He learns to appreciate what he has, which is good. Then one day he begins using gratitude to excuse stagnation. He says, I should be satisfied. Perhaps he should. But satisfied does not mean finished. A man can be thankful for his present position and still recognize unused capacity. He can enjoy the house and still improve his craft. He can respect his income and still become more valuable. He can love his family and still strengthen the future he is building for them. Contentment should remove panic. It should not remove purpose. There's a great difference between peace and surrender. Peace says, I do not need tomorrow to rescue me from today. Surrender says, there is no reason to become more. Do not confuse them. One creates stability. The other creates decay. Your character follows the same law, but you do need deliberate maintenance and growth where growth is required. Comfort is pleasant. It is not a philosophy. A man who makes comfort his highest aim will eventually sacrifice strength to preserve it. He avoids the difficult conversation. He refuses the worthy risk. He stays in work that no longer develops him because the wage is predictable. He says he is content. Perhaps he is afraid. Test the difference. Ask, if fear were removed, would I still choose this? That question reveals much. If the answer is yes, remain without shame. If the answer is no, do not call fear contentment. Name it. You may discover that the life you are protecting is not peaceful at all. It is merely familiar. Familiarity can imitate peace. A routine may contain no dramatic pain, yet quietly drain the spirit because it demands nothing meaningful from you. This does not mean you must destroy a stable life for excitement. It means you should know whether stability serves purpose or only prevents discomfort. A man with a definite purpose can live quietly and still grow tremendously. Growth is not always visible. It may be deeper judgment, stronger health, better financial order, more patience, greater skill, a more useful relationship with time. Do not measure growth only by bigger titles and larger numbers, but do not hide from measurable reality either. If your business is declining, gratitude does not correct it. If your body is weakening through neglect, contentment does not excuse it. If your marriage has become distant, saying I should appreciate what I have is not enough. Appreciation should lead to care. The happy man does not ignore deterioration because he wants to remain emotionally comfortable. He faces facts early. That is one reason real happiness requires courage. You must be able to look at what is wrong without allowing what is wrong to poison everything that is right. Most people go to one extreme or the other. They focus so heavily on the problem that they forget every blessing. Or they focus so heavily on gratitude that they refuse necessary correction. Hold both truths. This part of my life is good. This part needs work. Now act. You do not need misery to motivate correction. That is a powerful lesson. Many men wait until pain becomes severe before they change. They ignore a small financial leak until debt creates panic. They neglect health until the body forces attention. They avoid conflict until resentment becomes unbearable. Then crisis finally gives them energy. Why must crisis always be your alarm? Let awareness be enough. A mature man does not require suffering before he obeys truth. He sees the weakness and corrects it while life is still stable. This is ambition without desperation. It is one of the healthiest forms of self-command. You improve because improvement is wise. Not because you hate yourself. You save because freedom is valuable. Not because poverty is immediately at the door. You exercise because strength serves life. Not because illness has frightened you. You speak honestly because the relationship deserves truth. Not because silence has finally become intolerable. This kind of action is quieter. It is also more sustainable. Desperation can create enormous effort for a short period. Purpose can create steady effort for years. Choose purpose. The man waiting for success to make him happy usually uses pain as fuel. He says, I will prove them wrong. I will escape this place. I will never be poor again. I will show everyone what I can do. This fuel burns hot. It can move him far. But if he does not replace it, he may reach the goal and become empty. The people he wanted to impress no longer matter. The poverty he feared is gone. The position he wanted has been reached. Now what pushes him? He does not know. This is why ambition must mature before success arrives. At first you may run from pain. Eventually you must move toward purpose. Ask what you want to create, not merely what you want to escape. A strong family, financial independence, a respected body of work, a business that gives good people meaningful employment, a life with enough margin to think clearly and give generously. These aims can survive after fear loses its power. They give success direction. Without direction, more becomes the only goal. More money, more recognition, more property, more influence. But more has no natural ending. There will always be another level. If happiness waits at the top of a ladder with no final rung, happiness never arrives. Define what success is for. This question should become central. What is the money for? What is the recognition for? What is the larger enterprise for? What is the authority for? If the answer is only to have more than you had, you are still being driven by scarcity. Scarcity can remain in the mind long after it leaves the bank account. A man can have enough and still feel hunted. He can own much and still fear every loss. He can achieve respect and still need one more person to approve. This is internal poverty. Success cannot automatically cure it. You must cure it through perspective. Learn the difference between using success and being used by success. A man uses success when money gives him choice. Success uses the man when money creates obligations he cannot stop maintaining. A man uses recognition when it spreads useful work. Recognition uses the man when he must perform constantly to preserve attention. A man uses authority when it creates order. Authority uses the man when he cannot imagine himself without the title. Watch which direction the ownership flows. The purpose of success should be greater freedom under greater responsibility, not greater dependence upon the appearance of winning. This is why happiness must exist before the reward. A man who can enjoy a modest life has more power when wealth arrives because he knows he does not need extravagance to feel alive. He can say no. A man who requires expensive proof of success becomes easier to control. He needs the next deal, the next increase, the next display. His appetite becomes his employer. Do not let appetite employ you. Teach desire to wait. This does not mean living miserably after success. Enjoy what is appropriate by quality. Travel if it matters to you. Make your home comfortable. Give good things to the people you love. But make these choices consciously. Do not purchase them because you are trying to convince yourself that all the work was worth it. That is emotional spending. The reward should serve life. It should not become evidence in a trial concerning your worth. The same principle applies before success. Do not deprive yourself of every small pleasure because you believe sacrifice must be total to count. Some men become proud of deprivation. They refuse every rest, every dinner, every holiday, every quiet evening. They think misery proves seriousness. It does not. A serious man knows what must be sacrificed and what should be protected. There is no honor in destroying the instrument while building the result. Your body is an instrument. Your mind is an instrument. Your relationships are part of the structure. Preserve them. This may require boundaries around ambition. A boundary is not lack of commitment. It is a decision that one goal will not be allowed to consume everything else. Perhaps you decide that one evening each week belongs fully to family, then keep it unless a true emergency occurs. Perhaps you decide that sleep will not be sacrificed casually. Protect it. Perhaps you decide that no amount of profit will purchase dishonesty. Hold that line. These boundaries make success worth having. Without them, ambition becomes invasion. It enters every room, every conversation, every hour. Eventually, the man cannot sit quietly because stillness makes him feel unproductive. That is not ambition. That is dependence upon motion. Study yourself. Can you stop without guilt? Can you enjoy an hour that produces no income? Can you speak with someone you love without calculating what work waits? Can you take a walk without turning it into another planning session? If not, your pursuit may have become more than a pursuit. It may have become your identity. This is dangerous because any setback then feels like a threat to existence. Separate yourself from the work. You do the work. You are not the work. The enterprise can fail without you becoming worthless. A promotion can be denied without your dignity disappearing. A plan can change without your whole purpose collapsing. This separation gives happiness room. You can care deeply without making one outcome the judge of your life. And strangely, this often improves performance. When your worth is not hanging on every result, you think more clearly. You negotiate with less fear. You can walk away from weak terms. You can admit mistakes faster. You can experiment without treating every imperfect attempt as humiliation. This is one reason a happy man can become more successful than a desperate one. He is not constantly fighting for emotional survival. He has room for judgment. Do not misunderstand me. There are situations where urgency is real. A debt must be paid. A business may be near collapse. A family may require immediate provision. Then act with urgency. But even in urgency, do not add panic. Panic narrows thought. Urgency organizes it. What must be done first? What can be cut? Who must be called? What decision has been delayed? Bring order to pressure. Then once the crisis passes, do not continue living as though it never passed. Some men carry emergency habits into peaceful years. They cannot relax because their mind expects another blow. They make every opportunity feel life or death. They drive themselves and everyone around them with the same intensity that once saved them. The old danger is gone. The old behavior remains. Update the conditions. You are allowed to live differently when life becomes different. This is not softness. It is intelligence. A commander does not keep his men running after the battle has ended. He regroups, repairs, prepares, restores strength. Do the same. Your life needs seasons. There may be seasons of hard building, seasons of consolidation, seasons of learning, seasons of enjoying what has been built. Do not demand one tempo forever. The man who cannot change tempo eventually breaks. Happiness grows when you recognize the season you are actually in instead of behaving according to the last one. Perhaps you are still fighting a battle that ended 3 years ago. Ask yourself, what pressure is real now? What pressure is remembered? These are not the same. A remembered pressure can still produce real tension. You may earn enough now, yet still feel guilty whenever you're not working. You may have trustworthy people around you, yet still expect betrayal because of an old wound. You may be secure in your position, yet still behave as though one mistake will remove everything. This is how the past steals present happiness. Correct it. Use memory as instruction. Do not let memory become atmosphere. Say that danger taught me something, but that danger is not occurring now. This sentence can release enormous energy. You do not need to forget. You need to distinguish. The same is true with future fear. A man postpones happiness because he imagines everything that could go wrong. I will relax when the business is completely secure. When will that be? There is always risk. I will enjoy life when the children are settled. Then another concern appears. I will rest when I have enough money for every possible emergency. No amount may feel enough. If peace requires complete certainty, peace is impossible. You must learn to live responsibly inside uncertainty. Build reserves. Take insurance where wise. Prepare documents. Develop skill. Diversify where appropriate. Then live. Preparation should reduce fear. It should not become an endless ritual designed to eliminate all uncertainty. There is no final guarantee, except that happiness requires some acceptance of what you cannot control. This is not passivity. It is the refusal to waste strength pretending control is limitless. Control what belongs to you, your habits, your response, your preparation, your spending, your words, your associations. Then release the rest. A man becomes exhausted when he tries to command weather, markets, other people's opinions, and every future event. You cannot stop carrying responsibility for what is not yours. This alone can make the present feel lighter. The same principle applies to other people's success. If happiness waits until you are ahead of everyone around you, you have chosen a race with no finish. Someone will always be wealthier, younger, better connected, more recognized. If another man's success makes your own life feel smaller, you have given him too much power. Study what is useful. Then return to your own measures. Are you more free than 5 years ago? More capable? More financially ordered? More honest? More present with people who matter? More useful? These are better comparisons. Compare yourself with your own direction, not another man's display. And be careful of moving your own finish line every time progress occurs. You said you would feel secure when you had 1 year's expenses saved. Then you reached it. Now the mind says 3 years. Perhaps 3 years is wise. But ask why the first milestone produced no satisfaction. Did you pause long enough to recognize it? Or did you immediately treat it as inadequate? This habit can make every achievement emotionally disappear. Practice arrival. When a meaningful goal is reached, acknowledge it. Do not live there forever, but mark it. You worked for this. You became capable of this. Let gratitude register the result. Then decide the next aim deliberately. Do not allow appetite to choose automatically. A man who never recognizes arrival becomes psychologically poor no matter how much he accumulates. He is always almost there. Do not live almost there. Let some moments be enough. Then move because you choose to grow, not because you are incapable of feeling complete for one afternoon. This will make ambition cleaner. You stop chasing from panic. You begin building from strength. The work becomes less like an escape and more like expression. You ask, what can I create with the ability I have developed? That question is far more powerful than, what must I achieve so I can finally respect myself? Respect yourself through conduct now. Then let achievement enlarge capacity. This is the correct order. Self-respect first through honesty, discipline, and kept promises. Achievement second as a consequence of useful action. If you reverse the order, you may spend your whole life trying to buy internally what only character can provide. Success cannot purchase self-respect for a man who keeps betraying his own standards. A large income cannot make a broken promise feel honorable. Recognition cannot make cowardice feel courageous. No outer reward can permanently cover an inner contradiction. Correct the contradiction. Then happiness becomes more available because you are not fighting yourself. There is great peace in knowing that your actions and your values agree. Even before the world rewards you. You said you would do the work. You did it. You said you would tell the truth. You told it. You said you would protect the family. You acted accordingly. This is a form of success no crowd needs to approve. Build it daily. Then external success becomes addition, not rescue. And when external success comes, you will be less likely to destroy yourself trying to keep it because you already know what makes life valuable. You know that wealth without health is incomplete. Influence without integrity is dangerous. Work without relationship becomes hollow. Achievement without peace becomes another form of poverty. You will still work, perhaps harder than before, but the work will serve something. This is the balance you are seeking. Happiness without ambition can become sleep. Ambition without happiness becomes hunger. Bring them together. Let happiness say, this day has value now. Let ambition say, and I will use this day well. Let gratitude say, I respect what has been given. Let discipline say, I will not waste what can still be developed. There is no contradiction. The strongest man can hold both. He does not need dissatisfaction to move. He moves because purpose calls. That is a higher engine. It burns cleaner. It lasts longer. It does less damage to the people standing near him. And as you learn to grow without despising where you are, another question begins to rise. What happens when the success you once believed would make you happy actually arrives and you discover that the old restlessness is still waiting inside you? Because then you must face the deepest truth of all. The problem was never that you had not achieved enough. The problem was that you had trained your mind to live permanently in the next destination. And that is where many successful men discover a truth they were never prepared to face. The goal arrived. The income improved. The debt was reduced. The title changed. The house became larger. The people who once doubted them became quieter. Yet the inner restlessness remained. At first, this feels confusing. You believe the next achievement would bring peace. It brought satisfaction for a moment. Then the mind adjusted. What once seemed extraordinary became normal. The new income became ordinary. The larger responsibility became routine. The praise lost its effect. Soon another target appeared. Now you need more. This is the moving target. And if you do not understand it, you can spend your entire life running toward a finish line that retreats every time you approach it. You must break that habit consciously. Success cannot solve a mind trained to postpone satisfaction. It can only give that mind a larger field in which to postpone it. This is why some men become wealthier and more anxious at the same time. They have more to protect, more to compare, more to maintain, more ways to measure themselves against other men. The outer life expands while the inner standard keeps moving. Do not assume more will cure the unrest created by never allowing enough to exist. You must define enough before appetite defines it for you. Enough does not mean you stop growing. It means you know which needs have been met. You know what security looks like. You know what level of comfort is sufficient. You know what kind of work satisfies your sense of contribution. You know what you will not sacrifice for another increase. Without these definitions, ambition becomes endless consumption. One more contract, one more property, one more title, one more public victory, and every gain becomes old almost immediately. This is not success. It is emotional dependence upon novelty. Be careful. A man can become addicted to the feeling of progress and lose the ability to appreciate possession. He enjoys acquiring more than having. He enjoys pursuing more than arriving. The hunt excites him. The result quickly becomes dull. Then he must hunt again. If this pattern rules you, no amount will be enough because the object was never the real reward. The movement was learn to distinguish ambition from restlessness. Ambition has direction. Restlessness needs motion. Ambition can pause after achievement and say, "This was worth doing." Restlessness immediately asks, "What next?" Ambition builds. Restlessness escapes stillness. Ask yourself whether you can sit with what you have created without needing another goal to prevent discomfort. If not, there is something inside that achievement has not addressed. Do not hide it beneath another project. Look at it. Perhaps you are afraid that without striving, you are ordinary. Perhaps achievement has become the proof that you matter. Perhaps you learned early that approval came when you performed well. So now productivity is not merely work. It is identity. If you stop producing, the mind begins asking whether you still deserve respect. This is a dangerous arrangement. Your usefulness matters. Your contribution matters. But your right to peace cannot depend entirely upon constant production. A machine can be valued only for output. A man cannot live well under that law. You need standards beyond production: integrity, presence, reliability, wisdom, generosity, courage. These qualities still matter on a day when no great result is produced. Build identity around character, not only achievement. Then ambition becomes healthier. You can work intensely without believing work is the only proof of worth. You can rest without feeling erased. You can fail at one project without losing your entire self-concept. This creates resilience. It also improves the quality of your success. A man who does not need every result to prove his value can make better decisions. He can walk away from an opportunity that violates principle. He can say no to money that costs too much peace. He can admit a mistake because the admission does not destroy his identity. He can let another person shine without feeling diminished. This is strength. The moving target also survives through comparison. You reach a milestone. For one day, you feel proud. Then you discover another man has reached a larger one. Immediately, your own result shrinks in your mind. Nothing changed except the comparison. This reveals that the goal was partly being used as a ranking system. You are not only trying to improve, you are trying to feel ahead. That game has no end. There will always be someone ahead in some category. Richer, younger, more famous, more connected, more accomplished. If happiness requires superiority, happiness becomes mathematically impossible. Stop using another man's life as the ruler of your own. Study excellence. Learn from it. But do not convert admiration into self-rejection. Ask whether your life is moving according to your chosen principles. Are you more capable, more free, more financially stable, more present with people who matter, more useful, more disciplined? These measures are closer to your control. Use them. Comparison is especially dangerous after success because your circle changes. You begin meeting men at higher levels. What once seemed wealthy now seems ordinary. What once seemed influential now seems modest. This can distort perspective. You may forget how far you have come because your eyes are always on the next room. Look backward occasionally, not to become proud, to remain accurate. There was a time when what you possess now would have looked like freedom. Remember that. The reserve you now call small may once have seemed impossible. The responsibility you now find tiring may once have been the opportunity you prayed for. The house you now want to improve may once have been beyond imagination. Remembering this does not mean you must stop wanting more. It means you stop insulting progress by refusing to see it. Gratitude corrects distorted scale. Use it. The mind adapts quickly to improvement. This is useful because adaptation keeps you functioning. It is dangerous because adaptation makes blessings invisible. Therefore, appreciation must become deliberate. Notice what improved. Name it. Not every day with grand emotion. Simply acknowledge reality. This is better than pretending nothing matters until the next target is reached. You can say, I am grateful for this level, and I am still called to grow. Both can be true. The mature man can hold achievement and aspiration at the same time. He does not need dissatisfaction to create movement. He has purpose. Purpose is cleaner than dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction says, what I have is not enough, therefore I must run. Purpose says, what I have is valuable, and I can use it to build something larger. Do you hear the difference? One moves from deficiency. The other moves from stewardship. The second creates better decisions. A desperate man overreaches. A purposeful man calculates. A desperate man accepts poor terms because he needs the next proof. A purposeful man can wait. A desperate man cannot enjoy progress because every milestone is immediately converted into pressure. A purposeful man can stop, appreciate, and then continue deliberately. This is the rhythm you need. Work, reach, recognize, recover. Choose again, not work, reach, dismiss, chase. The second rhythm creates exhaustion without a rival. The first creates a life. You should build ceremonies of recognition into your progress, not grand ceremonies, simple ones. When a debt is cleared, mark it. When a savings target is reached, acknowledge it. When a difficult year is completed honorably, take a day and reflect. When a skill reaches a new level, notice the evidence. The mind needs closure. Without closure, every achievement blends into the next obligation. Then years of success can feel like one long, unfinished task. That is unnecessary. Close chapters, then open new ones. This is not laziness. It is psychological order. A man who never closes a chapter remains mentally indebted to everything he has already accomplished. He cannot feel ownership because he is always already moving on. Stop. Let the result register. Then decide whether the next goal is actually yours. This question becomes increasingly important as success grows. At first, goals are often clear. You need stability. You need income. You need a place to live. You need to establish your reputation. Later, goals become less obvious. You already have enough to live well. Now what? This is where society begins supplying goals for you. Bigger, more expensive, more prestigious, more visible. If you do not choose consciously, you will inherit a definition of success that may not fit your life. Ask what you genuinely want from the next decade. Not what looks impressive. What would make the life stronger? Perhaps more time autonomy. Perhaps less complexity. Perhaps a smaller number of better projects. Perhaps a larger enterprise that solves a meaningful problem. Perhaps more teaching. Perhaps more family presence. Success should increase your ability to choose. Use that ability. Do not let success trap you in a pattern you built when your needs were different. A man may spend 20 years building a business for freedom, then discover the business owns every hour. He is wealthier and less free. This is a signal. He must redesign, not abandon responsibility carelessly. Redesign. Train people. Simplify operations. Remove unnecessary commitments. Sell what no longer serves. Create systems. Use success to reclaim the purpose success was supposed to serve. Otherwise, the means becomes the master. This happens quietly. You begin with the idea, I will work hard so my family can live better. Years later, the family lives better materially, but rarely sees you. The mission succeeded financially and failed relationally. Correct it. Do not defend the structure merely because it produced money. A successful method can still become outdated. Ask whether the life produced by the method is worthy. If not, improve the method. This takes courage because success creates sunk cost. You have invested years, reputation, capital, identity. Changing anything feels dangerous. But staying in a successful arrangement that is destroying the life can be more dangerous. Do not confuse profitable with healthy. Do not confuse respected with meaningful. Do not confuse busy with necessary. The moving target thrives on these confusions. It says just one more year, one more expansion, one more milestone, then I will slow down. You may have said that before. How many times? Be honest. If the promise keeps moving, the problem is no longer the milestone. The problem is that you do not know how to grant yourself permission to live before completion. Grant it now. You do not need to abandon ambition. You need to stop using ambition as a reason to postpone everything else. Schedule the dinner, take the walk, sit with your children, visit the friend. Read the book that is not connected to business. Let life contain things that do not improve your status. This can feel uncomfortable if achievement has become identity. Do it anyway. You are training another form of strength. The ability to exist without constantly proving. That is not weakness. It is freedom. You may discover that happiness has been available in forms you kept ignoring because they were not impressive enough. A quiet morning, a healthy body, a loyal marriage, a clean conscience, a friend who tells you the truth, work you respect, enough money to say no to desperation. These things may never make headlines. They can make a life. Do not sacrifice them casually for symbols. The tragedy is not that men pursue success. The tragedy is that some achieve symbols of success while losing the conditions that would have allowed them to feel successful. Protect the conditions. This requires knowing your values before temptation arrives. What is not for sale? Your health, your integrity, your marriage, your freedom to think, your time with children while they are young. Do not answer abstractly. Translate values into limits. How many nights away are acceptable? How much debt is too much? What kind of business will you refuse even if profitable? What hours belong to family? What minimum sleep protects judgment? Values without limits become beautiful words that collapse under pressure. Give them structure. This is how happiness becomes defended rather than hoped for. A good life requires boundaries. So does a good business. So does a good mind. Without boundaries, every demand enters. Every opportunity competes. Every appetite expands. Then the man says, life is overwhelming. Some of that overwhelm is unmade decisions. Decide, what will you not chase? Whom will you not impress? Which opportunities will you refuse? What level of complexity is enough? Saying no is one of the great privileges success should give you. Use it. Poor men often say yes because they need the opportunity. Successful men can still say yes from insecurity. That is worse. If you have enough and still cannot refuse, the chains are internal. Find them. Perhaps you fear becoming irrelevant. Perhaps you fear that if you slow down, another man will pass you. Pass you where? This question matters. If the race has no chosen destination, being passed means nothing. Define the destination. Maybe another man builds a larger company. Good. Is that what you wanted? Maybe another man becomes more famous. Good. Was fame your purpose? Do not let another man's ambition recruit you. Stay with your own. This becomes harder as status increases because comparison becomes sophisticated. You may no longer compare houses. You compare influence, legacy, market share, power. The objects change. The psychology does not. Recognize it. The question remains the same. Am I building what I actually value, or am I responding to another man's scoreboard? Return to principle. Happiness requires a private definition of enough and a private definition of meaningful. Without both, public success can never become personal fulfillment. You also need to examine whether your standards for yourself have become cruel. Ambition often improves standards. Good, but some men turn standards into permanent self-attack. Nothing is celebrated because everything could be better. Every mistake becomes evidence of decline. Every quiet day feels wasted. This is not excellence. It is hostility toward yourself disguised as discipline. A good standard should direct behavior. It should not require contempt. If you miss the standard, correct. Do not insult. If you make a mistake, review. Do not turn the error into identity. A man who can correct himself without hating himself will last longer. He will also make better decisions because shame is not clouding judgment. This matters greatly after success because expectations increase. You are used to being competent. Then one new level makes you a beginner again. You may hate that feeling. You are no longer the most knowledgeable man in the room. Good. Learn. Do not protect your identity by pretending. The happy, successful man can be a beginner without feeling diminished. His worth is not dependent upon constant superiority. This keeps him growing. Paradoxically, the man who no longer needs success to make him happy may become more capable of sustained success because he can tolerate the awkward stages of learning. He does not need every day to confirm that he is exceptional. He can be ordinary long enough to become skilled at something new. This is a tremendous advantage. You must also learn to let success become enough for others, even if it is not the end for you. Perhaps your family is satisfied. They do not understand why you want to build more. Do not resent them. Your ambition is yours. Do not require everyone to share it. At the same time, do not make them pay indefinitely for an ambition they never chose. This is where responsibility enters. If your next goal requires sacrifice from others, discuss it. Do not assume your dream automatically outranks their life. Leadership begins at home with honest agreements. You may decide the goal is worth pursuing. Then say what it will require. Set limits. Create a review date. Make sure the people carrying part of the cost have a voice. This is stronger than simply announcing, I am doing this for all of us. Maybe they would prefer less money and more presence. Listen, success should increase your ability to hear truth, not your authority to dismiss it. A man can become so convinced that he is providing that he stops noticing what the people around him actually need. Correct that. Money solves some problems. Presence solves others. Do not use one as a substitute for the other. And remember, you cannot save happiness for retirement, for the day the company sells, for the day the children leave home, or for the day the pressure disappears. Those days may come. They will bring their own problems. Life does not become empty of difficulty at some final stage. Therefore, happiness must be portable. It must be able to travel through ordinary days. It must coexist with unfinished work, with uncertainty, with responsibility, with ambition. This is why gratitude, relationships, health, meaning, and self-respect matter so much. They are forms of wealth available during the journey. Do not postpone them. A whole man does not postpone living merely because there is still work left unfinished. The man who learns this does not become less serious. He becomes less desperate. He works from a stronger place. He can risk without feeling his life depends upon one result. He can recover without declaring disaster. He can enjoy success without becoming addicted to it. He can choose another goal without despising the one he already reached. This is maturity. And once this maturity begins to settle, a final challenge appears. Can you allow happiness to become part of your discipline rather than something separate from it? Can you build a life in which joy, gratitude, rest, useful work, ambition, and responsibility are not competing forces, but parts of one deliberate structure? Because until you learn that, you will keep treating happiness as a reward for success instead of recognizing that happiness itself must become one of the ways you define success. A successful life should not force you to choose between achievement and peace. That choice is false. The right structure allows ambition to sharpen you without consuming you. It allows work to matter without becoming the only thing that matters. It allows money to create freedom without becoming the measure of your worth. It allows rest without guilt, joy without apology, and discipline without misery. This balance must be built deliberately. Happiness does not arrive by accident after enough success. It must be designed into the life while success is being built. That means protecting what keeps a man whole. A clear conscience, strong relationships, useful work, financial order, enough rest to think properly, time that is not constantly sold, a purpose larger than appearance. These things do not weaken ambition. They make ambition worth carrying. If your pursuit destroys every condition that would allow you to enjoy the result, the pursuit is poorly designed. Correct the design. Do not wait until collapse. A man often knows what is wrong long before he changes it. He knows the schedule is damaging his health. He knows the partnership is costing peace. He knows the next expansion will reduce time with family. He knows debt is being used to maintain an image. Then he continues, because success has become too important to question. Question it. Success is supposed to serve life. Life is not supposed to become fuel burned endlessly beneath success. This does not mean choosing comfort whenever duty becomes hard. There will be seasons when responsibility demands sacrifice. Accept them. But sacrifice should have a reason, a limit, and a review. Do not call permanent neglect temporary sacrifice. This is where the successful man becomes complete. He stops treating happiness as a holiday from responsibility. He makes it part of responsible living. He can work hard and still notice the people beside him. He can pursue wealth and still enjoy the ordinary meal. He can carry pressure and still laugh. He can want the next level without insulting the present one. This is command over appetite. The man who cannot enjoy what he has is not master of desire. Desire is master of him. Master desire. Do not kill it. Direct it. Say, I want more because I have a worthy use for more, not because what I have makes me ashamed. That sentence changes the spirit of ambition. One creates expansion. The other creates escape. Build from expansion. This also changes the way you respond when progress slows. If success is your only source of happiness, a slow year feels unbearable. If happiness is supported by several parts of life, you can handle a slow year more calmly. You still correct the business. You still push where needed. But one difficult result does not poison every room in the house. That is strength. A man should not make his entire family live inside the mood of his latest financial result. Govern yourself. Carry pressure without spreading it carelessly. Speak when support is needed. Be honest about difficulty. But do not make every person responsible for restoring your confidence. Your confidence should have deeper roots. Character, skill, past evidence, faith, relationships, purpose. These allow you to remain human when one area becomes uncertain. And when a major victory comes, the same roots protect you from becoming intoxicated. Celebrate. Then return to proportion. The victory is part of life, not all of life. You do not neglect health because money improved. You do not neglect marriage because recognition arrived. You do not abandon humility because people now seek your opinion. Success should enlarge responsibility, not ego. This is how happiness remains stable after achievement. It is not tied to being praised. It is tied to living in alignment. There is enormous satisfaction in alignment. Your values say family matters. Your calendar proves it. Your values say health matters. Your habits prove it. Your values say integrity matters. Your agreements prove it. Your values say freedom matters. Your finances prove it. The structure speaks. And when structure and values agree, the mind becomes quieter. You are not fighting yourself. That peace is worth more than many visible symbols of success. Do not trade it cheaply. You will still make mistakes. You may become unbalanced for a season. Correct early. Review the whole life regularly, not only the financial statement. Ask what is improving and what is quietly being neglected. A man can become financially richer and relationally poorer, professionally stronger and physically weaker, publicly respected and privately exhausted. Look at the whole account. Success should not be measured in one column. Perfect balance does not exist. Conscious trade-offs do. Know what you are trading. Know why. Know for how long. Then restore what was temporarily reduced. That is intelligent living. And if the next goal would cost something you no longer wish to trade, have the courage to change the goal. You are allowed. A goal is a servant, not a master. The man who waits for success to make him happy gives every future milestone too much power. The man who builds happiness now can evaluate goals more clearly. He does not chase because he's empty. He chooses because he is purposeful. So stop telling yourself that life begins after the next milestone. Life is already happening. Build a future seriously. Become more capable. Earn more if the aim is worthy. Lead well. Create value. But carry happiness with you. Carry gratitude. Carry relationships. Carry health. Carry enough stillness to remember why the work matters. Then success will no longer be the place where you hope happiness begins. It will become one expression of a life that was already worth living. And when the next goal appears, you will not chase it from hunger. You will choose it from strength. You will no longer say, I will be happy when I succeed. You will say, I am building a good life now, and success will help me build it better.